Cincinnati, Cowboys, Washington.
A lot of ugly games.
Welcome back to Zesty's Best Bets. Another week in the NFL. We're here to learn what Zesty has for us. It's going to be a quick show. We don't have much time tonight, but all the better for you. All the better for everybody. So let's get right into it. Jets plus 2.5. Tell me a little bit about it, Cody.
Yeah, this is the NFL. You're not as bad as you look. You're not as good as you look. Everybody loves Minnesota. The Jets just shit the bed completely. In a nutshell, to make it real quick, the Jets still continue to pressure at a top 5 rate. Minnesota allows pressure rate of bottom 5. So we're looking strength versus weakness, then we can look strength versus strength. I mean, the secondary of the Jets have been a little weak, but we do believe in some of their secondary. Ultimately, unless you're absolutely terrible and terrible and terrible, you usually turn it on. The hype train of Minnesota is warranted. They do have the higher strength of schedule, but all the talking heads are talking about how miserable the Jets are, how terrible they are, and how great Minnesota is. Vegas doesn't care. Betting doesn't care. Give me the Jets 2.5. Honestly, outright, they win. This is a good get right game because believe I know they have Pittsburgh. They have a gauntlet of people coming ahead. I know they shit the bed against Tennessee. Well, they didn't shit the bed against Tennessee, but they didn't look great, and that was one of their wins. Looked poor against the Broncos. They're not as good as they looked against the Patriots, and they are not as bad as they looked against the 49ers. They're in between. I think the numbers inflated. Give me the Jets.
Public, you taking the Jets as well?
No, I don't think so. And that is mostly because of two things. I think Aaron Rodgers is just old. And I think as a result, it just makes the Jets not very good. And I'm convinced that Minnesota's pretty good. So I'll keep riding with Darnold.
Get out of here with your old ass. Moving on. Right along.
Not a good time to be an old man.
You got Cincinnati next? Is that right? Cincinnati's plus 2.5. They're hosting the Bengals. 1-3, 2-2. Battle of the AFC North.
Again, this is a divisional rival. You're not as bad as you look. I would love to say Cincinnati's not as good as you look, but they've yet to do that. The number, however, tells me something's afoot. The Ravens, this was on national TV, standalone game, just gave the shit kickers to Buffalo, who everybody thought was a Super Bowl pick from get-go because they looked really well. Cincinnati is working through things same as they played the Chiefs. They play them really tough. They honestly, I hate to say the word could have or should have because they didn't, but they played the game to beat the Chiefs. I feel this is the same way. Give me 2.5. I truthfully, I believe the Ravens are going to try to get cute. They didn't get Zay Flowers involved at all. ran the ball. They're going to try to pass the ball and show that, hey, we're multiple within division and might work, but that's just not their strength. They're going to deviate from their strength, or Cincinnati's going to force them to deviate from it, and then we get to that point. Either which way, my cap that I believe holds true, because I do believe Cincinnati is much better than giving up 38 to the Commandos, regardless of how good they've looked the last 2 weeks. Still an outlier and foreshadowing a little bit, but what say you?
I like this one a lot more than the last one. Like Joe Burrow at home, and I agree. Familiar foes, going to be a tight game. Like the Bengals to pull it out at the end.
You know, I'm not about that Raven life, so go Bengals. But tell me, what would the Ravens' strength be? Because you mentioned they're not going to go with their strengths.
Turn around, hand the ball to the 6'3", 250-pound motherfucker that made defensive backs look slow last week.
Oh yeah, Derrick Henry's there.
Every fucking play.
That, every person in the entire league, this is what's crazy, that's been StatCast, he was just this slower on his 87-yard touchdown run at 240 or 250 or 300 pounds or whatever fucking size he is. He's faster and bigger than everybody. Remember, we had this colleague that some of us think are smart and of recent think is fucking half retarded. Apologize. That guy is fast. He was this much slower than him. Like not even a blink of an eye. And that's Derrick Henry.
And outweighs him by about 100.
Yeah, about 100. About 100.
But yeah, good shit. I'm not mad at it. Go Bengals. They're 1-3. They can get a win right now. And we're moving on to the Brownies. Are you reverse jinxing us? Are we going to this right away?
Cowboys.
Oh, sorry. We're saving that.
Oh no, I guess the next one is the commies.
Okay.
Chronological order. My bad.
Yeah. You're reverse jinxing us. I know it.
I'm not going full reverse jinx. It's worked 2 weeks in a row, but the Commanders, what they're doing is just not sustainable. I get it. All the talking heads, they love it. They want to crown the next, and then lo and behold, you get the Browns, somebody they want to tear down, Deshaun. He actually played pretty well, although they lost. They had a 10-point lead. They blew it. Their defense is in flux. But the Washington defense, what they did against the Cardinals is not sustainable. What they've done offensively is not sustainable. Now they're eating all their pressings. They're at home. You got the Browns. This is a not for long league, NFL. Yeah, give me the points. I am not a huge fan of Watson, but the defense alone on the Commanders is not sustainable, because to add to that, I was incredibly disappointed with what the Cardinals did in that game, and I'm even more disappointed because that was my under was the pick, and they just shit the bed completely at home. The Cardinals are not that bad, and the Commanders are not that good. The Browns have been like this all year long. I still believe. I don't believe so much in Watson, even though his numbers are improving. This is a win, or the entire thing falls apart before Nick Chubb comes back. Like, they need to figure something out. I don't really think they're gonna fight. I don't think they're gonna fight for Deshaun, which isn't a endorsing argument here. This is more that too much press clippings on one side is a bad sign. Typically, it works both ways. So the Browns, their defense is still good, even though they haven't performed as such, and they just lost to Gardner Minshew. At some point, your pride comes in, or we're going to learn a whole hell of a lot, and it's going to go downhill real quick.
I get what you're saying, though. I mean, at this point, the Browns are thinking, hey, we haven't been as good as we should be, and working their ass off in practice this week, where the commies might be smelling the fucking roses a little bit. Tell me about it, betting public. What do you think about it?
Those are all great theories. Great theories indeed. There's just a couple problems. One, I feel bad because if this comes true, then, we're going to have to send out the mental health watch out to Colorado Springs, because just about the only way that I figure the Commandos don't cover here is if Myles Garrett sends Jaden Daniels to the hospital. So
is Myles Garrett playing? He went out last game.
He should be back, as far as I know, and that would just be sad. So to me, the Commandos offense is clicking, and Cleveland, I get where you're coming from. Watch a little bit of that game for some reason last weekend. Deshaun Watson had the game-winning touchdown pass in the bag, and the fucking holding penalty got it called back, which worked out well for me as I was facing Amari Cooper in fantasy. But nevertheless, I just don't see how the Commandos come up short here. Browns just don't have enough in the tank.
Let the reverse jinx ride, everybody. We'll move along. Your next pickup looks like to me the Jags -3. They're hosting Cincinnati. They're 0-4. Well, they're going to get a win at some point this season. Why not this week, right?
Yeah, they're playing the Colts. Even back to Cincy, but yeah. Even back to don't crush me, the 8 viewers we have. I think even back to Peyton Manning days, whatever it is, going to Jacksonville, maybe it's the Heat, maybe, they get a little rowdy in Jacksonville. The Colts struggle to cover. I think it's really abysmal, to be honest with you. It was 18 and something over 20 years, so do the math. I mean, it's not great at home. I do not love anything about Jacksonville. They did piece it together last week. They did get us a cover. They got us to the window for victory. Now, can they actually win? They're 1-10 ish, I think. 1-10 straight up. So yeah, they have to win, and the fact that they're a favorite. I know a lot of people are definitely all about the Colts. Quarterback doesn't matter here. The number has nothing to do with the quarterback. They're essentially replacement level. Richardson might have star value as far as, bumping it up, making it worse for the Jaguars, but ultimately the Jaguars are going to cover by 3. You might get a better number at the end of the week, depending on whatever. But I do think it's one of two things. They do what they do, or their season's over, and then they're just gonna fucking burn the goddamn thing down. And I do believe they have enough talent from last week. Last week's probably closer to who they are versus like Buffalo that everybody saw them quit and give up. So at home, I don't necessarily, honestly, they would be better off going to London because they have a good record there. But I think this is a tough spot for Indianapolis, even though everybody loves the Colts, and that's everybody, and the number hasn't quite moved to prove that. So F me, all right? I'll go down with the ship.
Betting public. Let's go, Jags.
You know who also wishes this game was in London? Doug Peterson. Because then he can go on a slick European vacation after they fucking choke. Which is not what they're going to do, though. Because Sunshine is going to prove everybody who thinks that I pulled one over on somebody on a trade recently in fantasy wizard football is incorrect.
Is that what you let off with?
Moving on. Buffalo under, huh?
Yeah, this is honestly, it hasn't worked out for me the last 2 this night specifically. And the Commanders and Cardinals, 50 is really tough to get to. I think this game's 47.5, so it's not a great number. But the last couple of weeks, the numbers have gotten a little weird. These are both.
I think, yeah. Houston
Yeah,
plays.
these are
home is a good over bet. I like that.
Yeah, these are both perceived over teams. I just think between the two defenses, it's going to get ugly. I had a similar thought, nowhere near as strong as I feel this. Not that this is a super strong, but divisional rivals this evening, Tampa and the Falcons, they covered that shit at halftime. So I believe this game is going to be possession based or one-sided to where it can trim down the clock. A colleague of ours was like, I never thought about the 55 plays, possessions, rushes, completions. And a lot of it goes into when I bet unders is, yes, it's how much can you control the game, but also how much does your opponent want to control the game? And then to that, how much can either one of them control the game? And if neither one of them can control it, you'd think that's good. But sometimes it gets fucking crazy, like the Titans Miami, where they punt the ball out of bounds on a fucking onside kick, and you get the ball at the 10-yard line, which wasn't the 10-yard line, but it was like the 15. And they're just trying to run the fucking game out. And then the over goes over when it should have never even sniffed it. So betting unders are dangerous. Not a lot of people love it, but these are two teams. Typically, when two teams are perceived to go over, they do well on the under because the line's inflated. So that's why I'm on the under. We had success with the Cardinals Lions. didn't have success with the Commanders Cardinals because it was just a fucking boat race, and the quarterback of the Cardinals is wearing a headset like this, probably trying to shoot people online, talking to fellow people like you instead of playing the game.
Anonymous betting public. I have a feeling
What?
you're going to be with the public here.
What fucking slander. And if you need to know which side of this is going to be the side that fucks up the over again, like the Commandos did last week, where they hit it on their own, at least what it closed at, that would be the Texans, because I just acquired Josh Allen. So he's not doing shit this week. Bet it.
All right,
The reverse jinx for your fantasy is
Yeah.
actually a strong bet as well.
keep bringing that up. Just
Moving on. Next up, we got the Rams in the late window on Sunday, hosting the Green Bay Packers. Rams been looking really poopy lately. We're gonna turn it around.
Yeah, this game I'm back and forth. I do not have a ticket on this yet. The idea is they have a structure. They are getting healthier. Green Bay, I'm almost certain, is traveling either which way. They're well coached, even when they feel their backs are against the door. The Bears' loss, which obviously I felt it in my pocket, was a little fugazi. That's a word I kind of like because I've, read a thesaurus and, did a little dictionary work. They
also
outplay.
trade diamonds.
What was that?
And you also trade diamonds, of course.
They outplayed the Bears, and if you look at the box score, it's like, oh yeah, the Bears dominated. Like, if I, tune into the substack, I think the Bears are ridiculous. There is no chance the Bears should be a 4-point favorite against Panthers. Obviously, I'm getting on something else. Tune into something I write up potentially. That the margin from this to this, it just doesn't make that much sense. It's very weird, but supposedly the Rams have the greatest home field advantage as of this year or the last, 18 games or whatever, which we all think, hey, LA, they got other shit to do. Obviously, the Dodgers are playing the Padres. We'll see. I don't love it. I do intro. I think a lot of this is Love coming back, but he didn't play that great in the first half. This is a good opportunity that I know 2 weeks in a row the Packers did rat fuck us and covered, but this is back to the defense. I'm very skeptical of this defense. Obviously, last week it was very odd. They were down 28-0, 10 minutes ago, 22-28. They had a chance to win. The defense didn't stop. It got off script, so I'm very curious to see what the Packers offense actually does. They are very not the Packers offense, but between their offense and defense on an expected efficiency rate, they're negative 27. All very low. So a lot of what they've done is beneficial of huge plays and efficiency. But both side. So they're on the negative side of the defense. That even though the Rams are decimated at receiver, they're getting healthy at the offensive line. I think they can control the game, and I actually wouldn't be shocked if they went outright.
Anonymous. Will they rat fuck us again? Referring to the Packers, as Zesty did.
I have deep concerns about the rat fucking nature of this weekend, actually. So I don't know about this one. Rams just feel like it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors at this point. They need some healthy wide receptors. They don't have them.
I would agree to fade the Packers here. I'll just say that. I think it's the same, going back to the same principle as the Commandos. A little too much love on the Packers, and Jordan Love returned to fucking. We're back on the road to glory. Not so fast.
To that, they're 0-2 with Love as a starter. Just saying.
Yeah. So
I know they're both weird, but
yeah,
if you want to add that and sway you one way or another,
yeah. But
they're
another
0-2
team,
with them.
another team who again goes into the week saying we're not the record that we are right now. We got to fucking bust ass. Is the Rams. Packers are 2-2. They shouldn't be feeling comfortable either, but you know they're on the road in LA, and it might not be the home field advantage as much as it's the other teams on the road in LA. There's a lot of distractions out there, especially for the superstars on the team. I'm serious. I mean, they go there, they fucking film a commercial during the week, dumb shit that they wouldn't do any other place. So
It's a little bigger than Green Bay. That's for damn sure.
right. All right, that means we're moving on to the Sunday night game. My favorite team, anonymous betting public's favorite team, the boys, Steelers, Sunday night football.
My most hated team. I would love if they just went into obliviation and were not part of the media. The beautiful thing is they're playing Pittsburgh.
Why don't you like the Steelers?
The
Yeah,
beautiful
good one.
the beautiful thing is this is one of the few times that them boys might not get bet out of a good number or bet over a good number, and you're chasing from there. Tell me something that Dallas has positive. There's nothing. Michael Parsons out. Lawrence is out. The defense is rated 31st against the run, which is trending up from 32nd because they played the Giants and they had 32 yards or something of that nature. Rushing, they're really getting shit together. Not so fast. I don't want to, take it from Lee Corso before he puts on a headgear and fucking, you know, doesn't make a pick after he takes the headgear off at some point. But Pittsburgh came off of a loss, even though they had good statistics against the Colts. They didn't do a great job of controlling the game, and they got off game script. So, yeah, give me, in a long story short, give me the Cowboys plus money at home and an opportunity when everybody thinks they're dead. I hate it. I absolutely puke, but I am going to bet it because I believe in betting my instinct. And I Pittsburgh's defense is really solid, but I don't think Dallas is nearly as poorly as they've shown. and we'll learn real quick. But Justin Fields has never in his entire career beat a team that has scored more than 20 points. I believe Dallas has the capability of scoring 20 points. Obviously, Justin Fields has been on horror teams, so I'm not taking that into the cap because I do think they've done really well. But Pittsburgh's also struggled. They continue to scheme themselves into weird situations that a defensive head coach would. And Mike McCarthy is phenomenal off a bye, or not a bye, but a rest advantage with his team. So a lot of this schemes into Dallas having the public's against us. Hey, we're gonna win, and then all of a sudden we have to listen to all the fucking puke garbage, disgusting. Hey, are they a Super Bowl contender because they fucking win a game 23-20 or whatever they win? Give me the Dallas Cowboys. Hopefully they make money. Otherwise, I'm gonna really hate myself.
This is all tracking very nicely from my perspective, so I won't quibble with it one bit.
Well, I'll just say, fuck both of y'all. Go Steelers. But in all honesty, the Steelers need a quarterback. If it's got to be 20 points, I don't know if Justin Fields can do that. Not against the Cowboys. I can't be confident he could do that against anybody.
Yeah, I don't know if his coordinator can do that. That's the thing. It's not a Fields thing because he actually played really well. Obviously, the game script got off last week. He played very well, or at least statistically played well. Man, I'm very curious on what Pittsburgh actually does because they were stymied.
It's
Whatever.
tough because you kind of need to, when you have Justin Fields, you really do just need to open up that fucking playbook and let the boy sprint. And the Steelers don't want to do that. They're just like, yo, we have the best defense. Just fucking chill. Be a game manager. They want Russell Wilson out of Justin Fields, but it's just not how it works.
Again, like I said, there's a lot of it. Obviously, with the numbers, I didn't give you really numbers, but going into it, man, the media is ready to kill Dallas, and I don't think they're as bad as they are. I love it. But I do
And
think
you know they're always dick riding the Steelers.
Yeah, and I know this is an opportunity that Dick Dak or Patty Whack or fucking Give a Dog a Bone or whoever the fuck decides to show up, then now we have to listen to it forever. And the media, honestly, on the other side, if they do fail, loving it too. But it's just on the gambling perspective of it. I think they're trying to kill the Cowboys too soon. Wait till they play the Commanders.
Good shit. All right. We're wrapping up with our Monday night feature. Written in the aints. Well, we're wrapping up the NFL. The aints plus 5.5. Hosting the Chiefs.
Yeah, a lot of this.
I'm sorry. Chiefs are hosting the Saints, just to be clear.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's part of the Falcon DNA because they pulled one out of the rabbit hat today too. But playing New Orleans, they kind of got a little lucky. There was a pick six and a punt return, I think, or a punt block or something of that nature. There was essentially 14 points. the in theory on a game script you couldn't account for, so it would be lucky and not sustainable. But moving into this game, Kansas City's kind of nowhere near the same lucky rate, I guess, but they've been a little clunky. This is by far Mahomes' worst completion year, I think, or quarterback rating or whatever fucking rating it is, but in a long time. He just is. They're not explosive as we used to think they were. They don't have the run game. Their defense is legit. They are playing a good defense. At some point, there's going to be a lull, and it just catches with them. There's not a whole hell of a lot I love about New Orleans, mostly because of Derek Carr, but they are explosive-ish. I don't believe that's sustainable either. But if you're going to load the box, maybe he catches one. The public here is probably going to bench one of their players on fantasy, and he's probably going to go off. So that's good for us bettors. But they can also control the line of scrimmage, and that's the bigger thing of the game. Like if you can control, in theory, control Chris Jones in a pass rushing scenario, you're better off. And the Chargers did that for a minute, but I don't know how many of us watched it. If you play the Chiefs and you score a touchdown, you better go for two. Because if you get a 10-point lead against him, he is now 12-0 on 10-point specific, winning outright. Not 9, not 11. So you just want to eliminate that variable altogether. Just get it out of there. Just get it out of there. But everybody's dick riding the Chiefs, and they've just not. They're 4-0. They're winning games. But I should have wrote this down. I think 7 of 10, or even more, has been less than a one score. So they are playing possession games. They're not blowing anybody out. Even though everybody thinks that's what they do. That's just not what they do of recency, and that's just the playoffs. We can even go further back, but I don't have that number off the top of my head, but I know they play a lot of close games. So, yeah. Hell.
Public. Do the Saints go marching in this time? Or the Chiefs go 5-0?
They shall. No, I think the Saints are going to look good this Monday night. Chiefs are a bit of a mirage at 4-0. Not sure I trust it. So, go Saints.
Let's go Saints. And to a speed round, college roundup, we're going to get to first Washington, then Arizona State. And then you have Cokes versus Wokes -10, then Texas Tech +6.5. Cokes versus Wokes, I don't even know what that is. What the fuck is that?
Hey, that's a...
Oh, we'll get to that one.
Yeah,
let's start it up with Washington, then Arizona State, and we'll go down the list real quick.
Yeah, so the number's trending down. As of today, it was -1.5. Earlier this morning, it was -2.5. Washington. There's no input. I watched them play Rutgers. They struggled a little bit as far as execution. Anytime a ranked team is a dog, great opportunity to take the unranked team that's favored. 100%. I wish I could give you the statistics, but I know it's profitable. So this is honestly a blind bet to an extent. That Washington will figure it out, and it's travel for Michigan. There's a lot of problems in Michigan. They are not the 10th ranked team in the nation, and that's it.
Damn. Betting public, you like that?
I'll tell you what, when I saw this, I said, oh man, Michigan's going to smoke them. So there you go.
I don't know how much NCW you've played, but Michigan is the number 10 team in the country.
100%. That's why it's a -1 or 1.5 now.
Yeah.
Is everybody's just.
It looked weird. I just assumed that they've somehow uncovered the fact that Michigan forgot what a forward pass is, so that might be troubling for them.
It's going to be an interesting game. It's a tough way to win. All right, on ASU. Letting Sparky ride. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, they're my darlings. I don't even know what their ATS is, but man, they're fun as fuck to watch. They continue to get terrible numbers, and I've won with them. I don't know what the end all is, but Scabo, they just continue to pound the rock. Kansas, however, I have faded and been very profitable fading Kansas. So potentially it's a 2-for-1 here. I don't understand it. Kansas, I trust ASU even though maybe the metrics don't, and they will eventually drop off, but they play fucking hard, and Kansas turns the ball over way too much.
Public. You following that maroon and gold?
Scatterbo. Let them ride. Scatterbo.
Let's
They're
go.
3-1 against the spread, and all three of their covers came in their victories because when they lost to Tech, they didn't cover. So 4-1.
All right. Folks versus Wokes. Tell me about it.
Hey, this is just a great opportunity to say Cokes versus Wokes. Miami, some say they lost. The Hail Mary, was it a catch? Was it not a catch? Maybe this is a wake-up game. 10's weird. I don't know anything about
Miami.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know a whole hell of a lot about California other than it's a long travel from Miami. I would assume that would be a wake-up call. Obviously, another fun one. Obviously, neither one of these are my original creations. Communists versus convicts. Catholics versus Catholics versus convicts. ESPN 30 for 30 2.0. Miami's coming in there. They got a squad. I anticipate Ward, who was part of the Pac-12, to play Cal, who is now part of the ACC, very well. It's not going to be too crazy. The athletes are there. Whether or not they show up, completely different story. I was embarrassed with UCF last week versus Colorado. Salute to Colorado. I want to give them their flowers. They beat the number by 42 points. They actually adjusted it accordingly. I hate laying big numbers, but couldn't resist leading off with Cokes versus Wokes. Go Hurricanes.
Alrighty, righty. We're wrapping it up with Texas Tech then, right?
Hold on. We must understand what you have here are the two most powerful forces that have destroyed the left in this country over the past 50 years. Cocaine versus the woke mind virus. Who will prevail? Who will prevail in this epic battle? And I think you are hearing it correctly.
Cocaine.
Cocaine will always prevail. It will always prevail.
We wouldn't be here without it. All right. Texas Tech. Let's go.
Yeah, Arizona just beat the piss out of Utah. Pinch game. Texas Tech, for some, covered. For some, did not cover against Sun Devils. I was one of the ones that were able to, well, I'm sure there were several people, but I was able to middle. But Texas Tech has come a long way from losing, damn near losing to fucking Utah Tech, technological, blah, 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 some dog shit team. I think it was Carleton State or something like that. They continue to play decent ball. There's a little bit of defense involved in Texas Tech, which is something they haven't seen in forever. I was going to say a different term, but I'll just say forever. 6.5 is too much. Arizona's coming off a big win. This is 100% just a fade on Arizona. And, if your morning slate's not doing too well, this is, I believe, one of the last slates.
This is a 9 o'clock start. So
yeah, you might be able to
action.
might get a little love with Texas Tech, but I do believe they're the side. The slate of college football is a little rough unless you want to get real crazy and back UConn minus 16.5, which I would suggest. They're
Go Huskies.
Again, that might be a subscript or substack or whatever the fuck the thing is, but yeah, this is the last bet of the college evening, and I believe it's going to trend more towards Tech, meaning you're going to get the worst number. So if you like it, get Tech at 6.5. Even though that doesn't mean as much in college, I do think Tech is going to put up one hell of a fight for them wild kitties.
I look forward to this being a nice come down from the high levels of cocaine that will be assumed and consumed across the nation during the Miami game. So, should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and a nice come down from Arizona from their high of beating fucking Utah, because Utah chokes on cock every fucking year, and they weren't meant to win that game. They weren't good enough to win that game. Utah just pissed it away.
They weren't built for that game.
Hey, we're born in the darkness. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's another week of Zesty's Best Bets. I hope you stay until the end. I hope you make a lot of money this weekend. I think we're getting on the right track this weekend. I just feel it for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think if you followed the show picks up last week, did okay college football wise, but 2-4 on the NFL, so maybe felt a little downer there on Sunday. But as Big Zest alluded to, tune in for the Substack as well. Throwing out winners there as much as we can.
Bye.
Adios.